Yo, this your man KG Salone representing Salone, Sierra Leone, West Africa. You know what I mean? Yo, check out that Wicked. It's on streaming platforms right now, Spotify, wherever you listen to music at. And yo, check out my man Gutta Magazine, man. They going in. We about to do this dope interview. Check it out. KG Salone, man. KG Salone on every platform. All right? Get at me. Africa, we up.
Word. Marriage.
It's Bash on the beat.
Wiki, 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 wiki. Hear me now.
Now, KG Salone. I'm in this business, man. I'm in the music business. I'm in the movie business, you know, writer, all of that stuff. So just here, man, just share my talent with the world. That's what I'm here for. My music is like a gumbo. You know what I'm saying? You take a bunch of stuff and you put it in something and you come up with something that appeals to different arenas, you know, not just regional. You know what I'm saying? Like all of us, we come out like we're from Brooklyn, from Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want to just do that. I actually wanted to take it back to the essence and bring it that way and then mix everything together. So the way I describe my music is a gumbo of music, and I wouldn't say I'm just a rapper. I'm an artist. I draw. You know, you give me a slate, you know, clean slate, and I'm gonna draw something for you. That's what I do. I would categorize it as just I don't know. I think because we gotta have labels on stuff, and I'm not good at accepting labels. So I just say, man, it's good music. It's hip hop. It's Afro beats. It's, you know, it's all mixed together. So maybe I need to start a new genre. You know what I mean? Because it's just something that it comes from me, like my experiences in life, places I've traveled. I put that all together, and that's what I came up with. Honestly, I wasn't trying to follow anybody's model, even though I'm a big fan of, you know, the pioneers and the people that's doing it. But I just wanted my own lane. First I put out an album 2020, which was called Salone to the World. And Salone, you probably heard me say it more than once, even though that's an acronym to my name, KG Salone. And by the way, KG stands for Knowledge God, which, you know, growing up with the guys up in New York and Jersey, 5%ers. So that's where the KG come from, and because of my name, Kenny Gouger, but just play on words. Salone is an acronym for Sierra Leone. That's the country where my father's from, my heritage, you know. So we took all of that, and that's with the music. So everything I actually do, production, all of that stuff come from Sierra Leone. So I do my part over here, you know, go in the studio and add in my 2 cents and, you know, write my stuff, what I do. But all the music will come from there because I just wanted to be authentic as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because I decided, you know, I took a trip. I know I'm probably moving fast ahead, but I took a trip there about 3 years ago. Just kind of minding my business, but I'm there to help people. I have orphanages there that I help, orphanages in Uganda, Sierra Leone, and other places. So while I was there, my mother had passed away like 3 years prior to that, and I was just trying to find a way to really like pay homage to her on her 3rd anniversary. So I made the song. I wrote the song for these artists to go in the studio really to perform it. But they didn't show up. And then I went all the way to Greensboro to a studio. Yeah, right? They didn't show up because I just didn't feel like I was ready to do that because I was more into the movies. That's what I went to school for, to be, you know, become an actor and all of that. So I wasn't thinking about it at the moment. I mean, I make music, but it wasn't like, you know, something I wanted to put out. So they didn't show up. So I was like, man, I do this. I've been doing this. Let me just go ahead and do it. So when I did it, took the record, took it to Sierra Leone. When I went to the radio station, and man, they started playing it, started, you know, going around the country, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, and then on top of that, they asked me like, you know, hey, we need another song. What's your follow-up? So I'm sitting there like, wow, I don't have a follow-up. I didn't, you know, that's not what I came for. But then, you know, I sat down and I'm realizing, I was like, man, you've been in love with music since the day you was born. I could remember, you know, my parents telling me stories like, you didn't even speak. You would sing. You know what I'm saying? You would recite whatever was on the radio. So, you know, I know that love always been there. I always got in the most trouble because I'm in the club fighting there. Because the music just gets you, you know what I mean? Like, so me and music, like, just one. So I was like, let me just do this. I sat down, taught myself how to do it. And I write all the time anyway. I write movies and stuff like that. I write songs when I wasn't performing them. So I just went in the studio and started doing it, man. It been, you know, people been looking out, and I got this this drive that don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a go type person, and if something is not good enough, I want it to be, you know, perfected. So I'm always there trying to perfect it. I'm always at the showcases. I'm everywhere. You know, I don't sit still. So it had to be music, but acting took precedence because I went to school for it. You know what I'm saying? When I came here to Charlotte, I went straight to UNCC and got a theater degree. So I do theater, I do Shakespeare, I do all type of stuff. So I was doing more stage work, film work, stuff like that. And I actually had the music like secondary. I didn't even think I was going to ever get into music. I knew that was something that was for me because my whole life I've been around it, but I just never thought I'd be in the forefront of it, you know, like doing what I'm doing now with it. Wow. Leonardo DiCaprio, definitely one. Of course, I got to put Denzel in there because, you know, that's the homie. And wow, I think John Cheadle, incredible, incredible. Yeah. I think with everything I bring myself, because part of acting, like 80, maybe 70%, whatever the book say, it's yourself. You know what I'm saying? And the rest is maybe creating from the script and, you know, just being and becoming. So I'm really myself. You know, someone might look at the screen and was like, oh, you move like Denzel on there or something like that. You know, I'm hoping one day, you know, I get that type of thing. But most of the time, I just approach it in my own way and study the character and then bring it to life as much as I can. I write for my life, because my life is really crazy. Like from childhood to where I am now, my life has been like, it's really a movie. You know, I'm hoping one day I'll be able to produce a movie and tell my life story, or, you know, someone come along and help me out, push it forward. Because I don't want to just put a story out. I want it to be something like a masterpiece, you know, something that I put money into it and spend time with it and all that. But I've written it down like 3-4 times and all that. Last script I wrote about most of my style, I lost it in Iraq, but no, Afghanistan rather. But yeah. How do I feel? I think I just be like, man, you've been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just tell myself like it's a purpose. You have some type of purpose. Because at first I didn't see it myself. You know what I'm saying? I went through some situation where I got shot and I got stabbed 18 times. So, you know, at that time you were just hard-headed and running around the streets doing dumb shit. You curse a little bit. All right, so just doing dumb shit. And even then I didn't even realize it. Like, I was in a coma for like 3 days. You know what I'm saying? So when I came out of that, I started to change a little bit. But I still hadn't changed entirely. My first son, Karan, shout out to my son, Karan, when he showed up, that's when I started gradually trying to change and, you know, just stay out of stuff. And the other part was I didn't want to, I wanted to make my parents proud. Like, seriously, I know most kids don't say that, but I wanted to make my parents proud, not just for the fact that they're my parents, but because my father especially, let me back it up. Okay. So I was born in Sierra Leone, West Africa, first off. So when I was born, my father left and came to New York City. He came to go to college. So I didn't know him. He didn't really get to see me or, you know, much like that. So they sent me to live with his mother, my grandmother. And that's who was raising me over the years and all of that. So I didn't meet my biological father till I was 7 years old when I came to New York. You know, and the reason why I said my father stands out more because he could have just turned his back. he didn't have to come back and get me. He didn't have to send money to my grandmother every month to take care of me. So because of that, I always feel like I don't want to embarrass him. I don't want to disappoint him, including my mother. Because the mother that took me in at 7, it's not my biological mother. My biological mother, I haven't seen her since I was 7 and she passed away. Rest in peace, Aggie. But you get what I'm saying? So I have these idols, I could call them, or heroes, you know, that I just did not want to break their heart. And I know a lot of the things I was doing can and will break their hearts, you know. Rest in peace to my mother, to both of my mothers right now, Agnes and Lula. But you know what I'm saying? So that's one of my main drive. And then, like I said, when my son came, my eldest son, it was just like I got to do something that's not about me and it's about them. So, yeah. So like we're talking about my mother and father. My biological mother name is Agnes. Rest in peace. Her and my father, they weren't married. So when I was born, she was estranged from her husband at that moment. You know, so when I was born, they were kind of trying to figure out whose child I was. By this time, my father left to go to New York, so they were going to court trying to see, you know, custody and all that. Eventually, my grandmother, I don't know what happened, but my father's mother was granted care of me. So she took me in, and that's who I was with. Not going to say that it was easy, because most of the time I wouldn't go to school. I'll be out there just running the streets, doing crazy stuff. It's crazy, like the stuff you do in most countries, you know, like a third world country. As a little kid, when you like 4, 5, 6 years old, you could be out in the streets about 12, 3 in the morning. And I was doing all of that stuff, you know, whether it was stealing to get some food. Because there'll be days when I go like three days or so without food. I remember getting food on my mother's grave out the trash can, you know, just to eat. Because I'm just a little kid, just trying to survive, and, you know, maybe probably hard-headed, because sometimes I could have went back to the house, but it's like we didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like we were pretty much in the shack, slept on this clay floor, like, you know, like dirt floor, and it was a mat. I don't know if you ever seen like those bamboo mats. That was all that was on the, you know, on the floor, and that's what I slept on. And I had my little cousin, which is a female. She also slept next to me. So it was, you know, that you slept in your clothes pretty much. You woke up, you in that same clothes. You go back out there. You can go to school. They go to Catholic schools over there. Catholic school, Muslim schools. I was going to this Catholic school, but I didn't show up that much. You know, sometimes I wouldn't have a uniform, because you have to wear a uniform to school. So I just be out there in a parking lots, or, you know, like where all the hustlers be, and I'll be out there hustling. So that's what I would do a lot. And then I'll run away and try to go to where my mother was, and then they'll return me. So we had a few of those situations. You know. So that was it with Sierra Leone, and eventually my father sent for me, and, you know, he had been doing the paperwork to get me to New York for the longest, but it took a while to get paperwork done. So when I got to New York, they moved to Jersey. From Brooklyn, moved to Jersey, and we were in Newark, New Jersey. So it was cool. But I'm in Brooklyn every day, because even when I got out of school, I'm in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where all my family was, and, you know, my mom, my parents still work in the city, so I'm always there. And eventually, you know, I was I was that new kid that didn't really speak English that well, you know, so every day they chasing me home and calling me African booty scratcher. Like, I learned how to fight literally because of that. Like, I started lifting weights, playing sports and all of that, because they pushed me. You know what I'm saying? It was like, Newark and Brooklyn ain't no punk when they come to, you know, like kids. Like kids think they get bullied now. Man, I'm not trying to downplay what they go through now, but yo, back then they was on you. They knock your head off. You know what I'm saying? You getting chased home and all of that. And in Newark, we lived like on the 28th floor. My apartment building, Zion Towers. So it's like, even riding up the elevator, it was like hell, you know. So I remember this girl, and I'm not even gonna say her name, but I remember shorty beat me in the elevator. She was saying something to me, I wasn't paying attention, and I remember she just got on me. But my mom's had told me, like, don't put your hands on girls, you know what I mean? And then when I walked in the apartment, my face all messed up. My mom was like, you know, what happened? So I tell her, and she was like, from now on, you know what I'm saying? So ever since then, I was a terror. It was anyway, but yeah, so that was what was going on. So I was going to Peshon Avenue School, and because I was behind, you know, as far as the language, I was in this after-school program. So every Tuesday they'll take us to like Sparta, New Jersey. That's like the suburb areas, or you know, up north Jersey, whatever. And they taught me how to do like Mandarin, like write Mandarin and all that, the Chinese characters, learn about the Great Wall of China, all of this. So I was like, I learned it so well I would speak in Mandarin. And this is me, at this point I'm like 10 years old, 11. So I'm even in the Star Ledger and all of that, where you see me writing characters and all that. So I always had this interest in China, Bruce Lee, and then, you know, we used to have like, we watched karate movies like crazy up north. So, you know, I was into it real crazy, and hip hop was one of those things that was like, you know what I'm saying, like the only friend I had, cause at this point I had no siblings. Okay. Yeah, my parents, when I was just with them, it was just me and them at first in the apartments, and so, and on top of that, I'm on the 28th floor. They be like, you know, you can't come down and you can't go downstairs. Then they working in the city, and I'm a latchkey kid. So, you know what I'm saying? Come and open the door and lock it, call mom, like I'm in the house, you know what I'm saying? If I go out, they may come in and watch me while we in the lower area and ride the bike and stuff like that. So I'll be in Brooklyn with my cousins. So that's why I always be at weekdays, weekends, and all that. So if you ask me, I'll be like, yeah, I'm more Brooklyn than Jersey, because that's where I got everything from. You know what I mean? But we fast forward. I played sports after we left North, and we moved to South Jersey because we got robbed. It was like Christmas Eve, actually. Yeah, Christmas Eve. Dude came in. We was in Brooklyn. We came back to the apartment, and somebody had went through there and stole everything, like everything. So my pops, like, he heated. Next thing he was like, we gonna go find a house. And this the same time my grandmother, the one that raised me in Sierra Leone, they had to bring her over because she had cancer. So she came, she was there for a couple of months getting treated and all that, but it was too late, and the cancer took her. But so we ended up moving to South Jersey in a town called Lakewood, and this is when I was like, I guess, starting high school or whatever. We get down to Lakewood, but the people down there, they didn't like us. Now when I got down there, it was like my cousin Jay, Sam, and Anthony, and all them. They all came from the Bronx. They moved here too, and we was just clicked up with just me and them, because, you know, we wasn't from around here. So everybody hated us. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was the girls or whatever that was, you know what it was, but like they hated us every day. We was going to school. We had to fight, getting suspended left and right, all of that. But this is where I'm getting my boxing skills. You know what I'm saying? So I started boxing. I really was boxing and, you know, doing that shit real good. So when I graduated from school, well, I played football too. Played football, but the thing was I was all right, but I didn't stay focused. I didn't stay focused, man. Like the girls was like the girls, and then I caught on to the game, you know, trying to make some money. So I started heading out with the other people and all of that, and kind of losing focus and all. But like in school, they loved me every day, and I had this thing for modeling. Like I loved to get dressed. You know what I'm saying? I used to see all the hustlers and all that, and I just was like, yo, and it's just something that came natural too. Like my mom used to make sure, you know, I had to, man, my mom was, rest in peace, my mom. She used to make sure I stayed fresh, like all the time, you know what I mean? So I kept that up the whole time. So when I come to school, even in class, like French class, my French class teacher be like, can you come up here? I go stand on the desk, and she like, show us your socks and all that. Like I used to do a whole show, and, you know what I mean? So after a while, NAACP came to the school. They was doing something, and they was like, we want you to model for us. So I did. That was my first time modeling and all that for, you know. So that's how the modeling thing came about. So I do that also. And then while I was in school, I did plays. Even in North, I did plays and all of that. I missed that part. So it was like, I think the first play I did was like Bye Bye Birdie. We was like in 4th grade or something like that. Then 5th grade, 6th grade, all of that, I always did plays. So that's where that acting came from. You know what I mean? And as time progresses, like I said, we down in South Jersey now. Things is we start mellowing out. By the time I'm like a junior and all that, they start accepting me a little more because I'm doing street stuff and doing little stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everybody getting along a little better. I graduated from there. I went to Red Bank, New Jersey to college. You know, started college there, and but my pops is like a real African, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't believe you should be given anything, you should earn it. You know, so I'm paying my own tuition. Like, how you feel like 17, 18, you paying your own tuition, but at the same time, like, I'll be on campus, and I'll come back to, you know, to the hood and, you know, try to get some money. So that's what I was doing. So I was like, man, and my people was getting locked. So I was like, man, I don't want to get locked up like this. You know, I'm gonna mess it up. So eventually, it was this recruiter came to my school, and he started talking to me about the Army. So I'm like, man, nobody want to go no Army, man. You know, up north we ain't play with no Army stuff. So eventually, he was like, oh, come to my crib. You can see, you know, how I'm living and all that. You determine, you know, that's what you want to do. So I went to his crib, like in Fort Monmouth. Checked it out. Like, wow, you did all this off of Army money? He was like, yeah. He was like, man, I helped you out, you know. So on top of that, like I said, I didn't want to get in trouble. And then I had caught into a little situation. My man had took my money and he went down south with my money. We like, you know, we had made some money together, and we were supposed to flip it, but he went and did something else. And when I came in his crib, like, I was crazy, and I was, you know, put hands on him. His pop was calling the police and all this. So after that, I was like, man, I need to get out of here because I don't know what can happen. You know, anything can happen. So eventually, even though I was playing with the recruiter, I took all the tests that they was, you know, ASVAB, all that stuff for military. And he was like, man, you did good, but in my mind, I still wasn't going. You know what I'm saying? I'm just playing with him because he'll take me uptown when I want something to eat, whatever I wanted. So the day came. It was like day after Christmas. I think, yeah, the 26th. So I'm like, I'm chilling. I'm uptown with this girl, and my mom's calling me. Like, well, I called home, and she was like, you know, the recruiter's here. I said, for what? He was like, you supposed to leave for basic training today. I said, man, Mom, stop playing. She was like, you need to come back right now. So I get home, my mom's got my whole room packed out. Suitcases. Now, I know most people don't know when you go to the Army, you shouldn't have more than one bag or whatever. So it's only me out here. I got like 3 suitcases. So this man sit like 3 hours and wait for me. Because I'm still like, you know, I'm not even paying no mind. So when I get there, he was like, oh, I can get you another flight. Don't worry about it. So it's my first time coming down south. I'm down in South Carolina the day after Christmas, man. And I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And back then, like I said, I was just a little crazy. So I didn't listen to nobody. And I used to stay doing push-ups. But yeah, so that's where I went in the Army. Actually, one of the best decisions I've ever made, honestly. Because it gave me an opportunity to become more responsible, more mature, and I got to travel the world, meet a lot of people, and provide a life for my family. Seriously, because if I would have stayed in New York or Jersey, I could have been like all my other people, locked up or on drugs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a big fact where we from. You know, stuff like that happen. So, you know, went in the Army, Germany, Korea, stuff like that. But the whole time I'm in there, I'm like, man, I really love this music and these movies. You know, what am I going to do? How am I going to transition into that, you know, before it's too late or whatever? We went to Iraq twice and Afghanistan once. Prior to that, I told you I was just a wild kid at first. I used to fight all the time. I guess because of them times, you know, when I used to get picked on, I became that guy that just loved to fight. And if I'm in the club, I'm fighting. If I'm in the club all the time, like, it got to the point where some of my friends be like, okay, man, you got to chill out. You know, put somebody in the hospital, stuff like that. So one night, my people was having a fight, I'm not even involved in it, but they came and got me because they know I'm gonna be down. So when I get in there, I'm thinking they having a fair one. One as people jump in, so I jump in, stop beating on the other dude. So when the night is over, I'm walking to my car and I hear, what's happening. I turn around, it's like 3 dudes. So they just rush me, but I'm fighting, throwing them. I'm not realizing that they're stabbing me at the same time I'm throwing punches, because my adrenaline's so high. But I felt like something was wrong, but I'm still fighting. So I hear the sirens going on. So we all run to our cars. When I'm driving home, I'm like, man, I felt funny. Something's wrong. I mean, not knowing when I get to the apartment to where me and my wife was then, she was like, what's wrong? I was like, I can't lift my arms up. I mean, so eventually she put the light on. When she put the light on, it was like blood everywhere. So I was getting stabbed under my arms and all of this stuff. And eventually she went to get the neighbor, but I passed out. And when I woke up, it was like 3 days later. And my mom was sitting there. That means she flew over there over those 3 days. I didn't even realize it. And I had to get a blood transfusion because not I would have died right away. So that was one of the situations. And the only thing that saved me, I remember the doctor telling me, he said, if you didn't lift weights and all that. Cause that's one thing I've been doing since those days when I was getting chased home. I've been lifting weights. So he was like, if you wasn't lifting weights and doing all that type of stuff, you'd be dead right now. All right. And so after that, we take off. We go to Iraq, Afghanistan, all of that. And I get hit by an IED. All right. So I'm not going to go through that whole story, but I got hit by IED. I got a medevac from Afghanistan to Germany. And Lowenstool, Germany. I was trying to find the town. Lowenstool, Germany. I was in the hospital for a while there, and then they transferred me to Bamberg, where I was. So I went to treatment for a while. Like I had to, really learn how to kind of walk, do like bodily function stuff all over again, But we made it through that. So I was just going through a lot of stuff, man. I went through a divorce. It was just hard times, man. It was like really bad times because everything that I felt like I had built up, I was losing. I don't contemplate suicide because I'm not gonna kill myself. I got too much to live for. Too many people count on me. I mean, so I never thought about any of that. And then by this time, I got my second son, Emir, rest in peace. My daughter Sierra, and then I got 2 set of twins. Situation occurred. My youngest son and my twins are all the same age, different mother. So that's the time when I was, wild boy. But But I take care of my business, and they always with me anyway. So, so as time progresses, man, it was time to get out the Army. My mom had a stroke, and I was just trying to get from Germany to get to her, so I could be there for her. But the Army, they said that I didn't leave with permission, which was impossible because somebody signed all my paperwork. How am I going to leave a whole country, you know what I'm saying, and not be noticed? Because you got to have all type of paperwork and all that signed by the right people. So anyway, I come back stateside, and the Army was mad at me, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, I just was like, you know what, I'm done. And then I met my wife now as I was leaving the Army. She came to Fort Gordon, Georgia. That's where her uncle was at, cause me and him was cool. And one weekend she was there, and I ran into her. And then from that day we just clicked up, and we ain't never been apart since then. It's been about 10 years with her. She's from here, so at the same time I was like, man, you know what? You always want to do this acting thing. Once you really do it professionally, go learn about it. I went to Atlanta first, and I was doing, extras and all this. I was everywhere. Wherever there was a camera, I was there to perform it, to act, whatever it was. Then eventually over there, it was just saturated with people, and everybody was trying to do the same thing. And I was like, well, let me go to school and get the fundamentals. And that's why I came here and went to UNCC, got a theater degree, started doing more Shakespeare stuff. I even went to England, went to Stratford, England, to Shakespeare's house. I went to his house. I went to the Globe to do a small performance. We put together a performance. We even took it to New York City, like an off Broadway show. We was in the city for about a month and just performing. You know what I'm saying? So there's been a lot of those. I've had great opportunities. Been in New York Times several times just for performing plays and things like that. And that's when, as time progresses, that's when the music came. And I told you the story how I went to Sierra Leone and the music started. And then lately it's just been the music. Like since the pandemic, I've been spending more time with the music because it was my first love. And on top of that, the music is easier for me to do. With a movie, I need a whole crew. I need this, I need that. You gotta have this. But with the music, I can sit there and just write and go in the studio. I even went and bought the whole equipment, recording everything, but I haven't even used it yet. It's been sitting there for a year, man. I'm not gonna lie. Engineering is something else. You know what I'm saying? And then with everything that's transpired lately in my life, I've been going like up and down. You know. And I guess we'll get to that part as time goes on. But with all of that, it's just been a lot, so I've been taking it easy. One of the reasons I do music is because the music is helping me connect people. I know I was telling you when the camera was off about a show that I have, a podcast that I have called Bridging the Gap on Spotify. And I feel like there's a big disconnect between the African and the Black American, and just black people all around the world. Big disconnect, and people are not teaching our history. We're not talking to each other. We're not letting each other know how powerful we are. I think us as black men, if we told each generation how powerful we are, where we really come from. Because one thing my father always said to me as a kid, he said, in order to know where you're going, you got to know where you come from. I know it sounds cliche, but it actually makes sense. You know, Japanese, they can always go home. Chinese can always go home. All type of groups can always go home. The one person that displaced is the African. Even the African that's in Africa, people don't realize they were displaced. Because when I did my DNA, it came back that we were from Mali. And Mali was, you know, the dynasty, the empire and all of that. So there was a movement of people as well. The people, the country of Sierra Leone itself and Liberia, when you do the history, those people all migrated into that country from America, from Scotland, from different places, from Jamaica after the slave trade. So if you do, you know, your ancestry, your people may pop up in those countries because that's what we return to. Okay. But I think that big gap telling our generations that they're not, you know, that they're kings, that they're queens, and, you know, that everything began with them. Like, they are the reason why people exist. Because everyone comes from the black man. That's a fact. That's a scientific fact. But people are not talking like that. They're not telling you that anything mixed with black, you get black. That's how powerful your gene is. They keep telling you your gene is recessive because they want you to think weak in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe our generations are going down because we just stopped telling people how great we are. They think our history just is slavery, and that's not a fact. They don't even teach you the fact that even Hitler said the black man was the original man. The original Jew. I don't want to say that word because we don't want a controversy. You get what I'm saying? I'm not praising Hitler, but I'm just saying people know the facts. When I got to London, first thing I did, I went to the library. When I go to any city, when I have time, I go straight to the library and the museums first because I want to learn about what's going on, who they are, and where they come from. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean again by where you come from. Because you really need that in your life. Seriously, if not, then you just walking around this earth lost. You know what I'm saying? What is your aim? Your aim is to have a nice car, a nice house. Come on, that's frivolous. You can't take that with you. You're going to have to build some type of foundation so your family can have something. And that's why we're lost right now. We're flapping in the wind because nobody know who they are. You don't even know what you're looking for. You just going by material items because that's what you see on social media every day. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to build a solid foundation. That's what my music is more about. I may make a lot of music that's happy and we partying and stuff like that because you need that. In the light of everything we're going through, we need that joy because you don't listen to music just to be, you know what I'm saying? You want to enjoy yourself. So my music has a lot of that stuff in there, but also I do the music because when I went to Sierra Leone, I was asking God, like, how can I help the people? I mean, I make enough money to take care of my family, you know, with whatever I've been doing. But how can I help more, even though I've been paying all this stuff out my whole pocket, helping them? How can I get more exposure to help them? And that's when the music, you know, like kind of like hearing God's voice, like use your voice. And I'm like, use my voice how? And then that's when it hit me like, oh, you're already doing the music, use your voice. So now when I go to Sierra Leone, all the kids are with me. When I walk the street, all the kids are with me. Because that's what I'm working for. That's why I want to give them a better life. I don't understand, you know, why anybody that look like us have to suffer so much. I want to try to see if we can even it out. And if there's a lot more of us think that way, we can do that. If a LeBron James went to Africa and started a school and all that, you know how many other people will follow? We got a place to go back to. As many times these people tell us go back home, even though we built this country and we built so much more. We got a place waiting for us. That's dope as hell. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people understand that. Because if everybody packed up and left and went there, what would be left here? It will crumble. Because we are the trend. We are the everything. We bring the flavor to this country. To the world. I mean, the world rotates around what black people have done. You know what I'm saying? And that's what black people need to understand and not just take we need to idolize more than what we've been idolizing, which is drug dealing, jail, all of that stuff. We need to change the format. And I don't have nothing against no other people, music or whoever the artist is, but I think we need to create a balance. It's not enough balance. You know what I'm saying? It's only, you only playing this type of music and that's it. And what the kids gonna learn? You telling people that you can't be an artist after 25. So that means everything that you hearing is gonna be from an adolescent or somebody under 25. So you gonna live your life according to someone that's under 25 forever? You're gonna be a grown-ass man, but you're gonna be listening to somebody that's under 25. That shit don't make no sense. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not shooting shots at nobody. I'm just telling you this is how our community, we have built it. Even to the DJs, to the medias, they're always talking about, yeah, you a certain age, you can't get in the game. Cause nah. Matter of fact, your frontal lobe has not even developed yet by the time you're 25, 30. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be listening to a whole bunch of, you know, but not saying everybody's talking like that. But the people that are talking something, they're not getting played. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by just some balance. So we can teach the kids. You know, there was a time when you could pick up a record and learn about your heritage or learn about your history class, and you didn't even have to open a book. But we don't even do that no more. So that's what we talking about. All right, and yeah, this year, man, this year has been one of those times where I think God was like, I mean, we've been in the test for a long time, but this year has been one of those years when it was just. I've never experienced anything like it. Like I said, I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been blown up, all of that type of stuff. But this year, like, took a toll on my entire family. January 1st of this year, my son got killed. My youngest son got killed. I don't want to go too deep in the case because the case is still, they're getting ready to go to court, hopefully. But as his birthday progressed, his birthday would have been March 22nd. His first birthday since he passed away. And his mother was in Texas where he was buried in Fort Hood, Texas, because that's where she was still stationed. His other siblings, because we had 3 children together, they were all away. They weren't in Texas. So as we're on FaceTime on that day, on the 22nd of March, celebrating his first birthday away from us, some people came to the cemetery and started shooting up the entire cemetery. And they killed his mom on his birthday at his gravesite. You know, so it's just been one of those things that we haven't been able to pick up and go forward, because has that happened, then her father passed away a couple of weeks later. And then my aunt, my uncle, and rest in peace to my little nephew too in Philly, he got shot in the head. So it's just been like, we had 10 deaths, like pretty much about 10 deaths directly in a row, up to now. So we haven't found a way to really move forward. And my way of dealing with things is just to constantly stay working, constantly stay moving. Like, mobility is the best thing that I can do, you know, always stay active. Not saying that I want to keep my mind off of what transpired, but one thing I've learned, even being in the military, I've had my friends pass away with me, next to me, in front of me. One thing I learned is I cannot live in that moment. Depression is like one of the #1 killers in our community. You know, a lot of the stuff that's happening right now is because of depression, because of mental illness. You know, is really strong in our community. So I didn't want to become a victim of mental illness, even though I'm diagnosed with PTSD, like they say, all military people. And I think you don't have to be military. I think if you live life, especially in America, well, not just America, because the whole world's going through it. I think if you live life, period, PTSD is something that we all suffer from. You know what I mean? But lately, I just, just trying to be there for my children, because they're hurt. They lost 3 generations in less than 3 months. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we've been dealing with. And at the same time, I'm like, I'm not gonna let this dream fall. I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to become successful in the music and in the movies, because I want to be the first one to open that door. I want to be the first one to make us millions, leave something behind. I want to be able to go to Africa and different countries, not just Africa, back to Brooklyn, back to Jersey, to help something in the community, change something, build a school, build a hospital. Those are times, that's the type of time I'm on. I want to leave legacies. I want to put things in my mother's name like she deserved it. My father's name, all of that, my son's name, his mother's name. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to my wife, Erica, man. She's like, she got me, man. That's my backbone for real. She always got me. So she's with me as we do this. She even worked for Habitat for Humanity, just helping out the community in Charlotte and all that. So it's we on the thing that it's not about you. It's not about, and once you learn that in this world, like, it's not about you, it's about you seeing what you could do for the world and what you could do for other people to make life better for them. And you get blessed that way, man. Yeah. So, like I said, mental health is like one of the biggest problems in our community, right? And I'm not just in the African American community, but I'm saying worldwide, because it's war everywhere. They're shooting everywhere. We're shooting more over here, but they're shooting a lot everywhere. So what I've been doing to just maintain is I read a lot. At least I used to read a lot more in the past. Lately, I haven't been able to really focus. And they set me up for counselings and all of this stuff, mental health hospital, and I showed up for a couple of the sessions. I did, and then we were doing virtual sessions and all that. But I told a psychologist the other day, I said, I don't want to continue with the sessions. And he asked me why, and I told him, and he understood after I explained it. I was like, I could come here every day and I can sit with you and tell you my problems, but honestly, I'm counseling myself, because you're sitting there and I'm telling you all of my stuff. And it's not the first time I went to a counselor, but I just didn't feel like it was helping me to the degree that I needed it. I think me being able to sit down and talk to any individual, that's part of my counseling. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to my family or my father. Things like that. Just a perfect stranger. Like, we having a conversation, and we may get to some of the things that I've come to this year. Because my story might be unique, but I'm not the only one. There's so many people going through it, because gun violence is really, like, it's messing us up. Like, I know so many families parents that's burying their children lately. And like we always say, no parent should have to bury their child, but that's becoming the norm lately. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying my situation is any more special than theirs. I'm just saying we need to find some type of procedure to try to minimize the gun violence in our communities. We need to start talking to our youth, the generations that are coming up. And we just need to try to get them to understand who they are. And if they're having problems, they need to speak out. That's the thing. We were always taught not to cry, not to show our emotions, and put all that shit in the trash. You know what I'm saying? These 2022, we gotta be real with ourselves first before we try to be real with the outside world. Be real with yourself. If you need some if you need some help, let somebody know. Let somebody that you trust and are confident with, you know, talk to them and get some type of help. You know, I don't advise everybody should be on those pills. You know what I'm saying? They gave me a bunch of pills to take for sleep, for attitude adjustment. I might took the sleeping pills once or twice, but after that, I left it alone. I don't want to be addicted to anything else. There's too many things out here to try to get us addicted to stuff. And I think if you build your relationship with God, honestly, might sound cliche, but that is a fact of life. It's one person that created you on here. Whatever name you may call him, Allah, you may call him, you know, read the Torah, read the Quran, all of that stuff. Whatever name you refer to that individual as such, or that entity as such, that spirit, it is what it is. Build that trust with that spirit and talk to them. You know what I'm saying? He's accountable for you being here on earth. You know, if anybody loves you, that's the person that loves you most. So that's all I do, man. I just keep it thorough like that, and I talk to God. I write down things, and I write down things I want to accomplish. Every morning I wake up, I go and I exercise. I even went and got a trainer, even though I was a trainer myself, but now I have someone who trains me physically, and you know, I feel like if I want to get to a certain degree, I need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me give the reins to someone else. Because I've done everything I could do at my level. It's just like the music. I've done so much at my level, I need help. Somebody step in like, oh, let's take it to this degree now. Because I've been, you know, I went to perform in Ghana. I went to perform in Canada. I went to perform in Africa. I did all this out of my own pockets. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm at the point where it's not like I'm looking for a label, but I'm looking for some help. Because I need to build a team. I don't really have a team beside me and a couple of other guys that's in Africa that help me with things. I'm doing all this. I'm financing all this myself. I'm making all these trips on my own. Last year I just tapped my wife like, yo, we're going to Ghana. She was like, for what? I'm like, I want to go do a video over there. I tapped one of the artists over there, one of the great artists. Shout out to Lyrical Joe. Went over there, made a song with him. We shot 3 videos, and right now, you know, the pull-up video is like over 500K. On his own, you know what I'm saying? So it just been stuff like that, man. Just making things work. We were supposed to open up for Tia Savage. I was supposed to, but they canceled because of the weather. So you know, just create more opportunities, more performance opportunities. I love to perform. Like I said, I'm always on stage anyway, whether I'm doing acting or whatever. So just transitioning with the music is something. If you know me, you know, and I used to be in the club just wilding and all that, you know, like. That stage was for me. Like it's always been in my DNA. I didn't listen to it, and it just kind of stumbled in there. And shout out to my mom, rest in peace. But because of her is the reason, you know, I ended up stumbling in there. And because of taking the trip to Africa, we actually opened a lot of doors and opened my eyes to a lot more things that I already was aware of, you know. So that's what it is, man. Like I said before, man, as a kid, I know this sound corny or whatever. But let it be, whatever it is. I don't be caring what people say, man. I just be myself. But I feel like as a kid, you should always try to make your parents proud. You know, I tell my kids that, like, when you violate your parents, curse them out, whatever you do, man, your life be short. Or you won't be accomplishing too much. You won't be successful. So I always set out, not because I'm a goody two-shoes, but because I just want my parents to be proud of me. Rest in peace to my mom still. I still do stuff every day to make her proud. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about going back to school to get my master's degree. And it's not for me. I'm not going to use it for nothing. But, you know, I just want, I didn't want them to ever be like, they wasted their time with me. Because they invested in me. You know, having a child is investing in that child. You know what I'm saying? You want them to be successful and all of that. So I want to make them proud. That's all. You know, so that's one of my biggest things that I push forward as well. And just, you know, and on top of that, I don't want to disappoint God. I think I've disappointed him so many times in my life. I'm at the point where, you know, I just want to please him, and I believe if I please him, he will bless. And it's not, I'm not doing it quick for cold. You know, it's not none of that. I'm just saying, like, I want to just glorify him. And I'm not one of those Bible thumpers walking around the Bible. I just got knowledge of self. But it just, I want to show him my gratitude. He didn't have to leave me here. You know what I'm saying? There's many times when, like I told the story, I could have been out of here. many times, even now. You know what I mean? But he keep on saving me, and I know he saved me for a reason. So I want the world to see what the reason is, as well as myself. All right. First thing I want to say, man, I want to shout out to God, like I was just talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's my best friend. My second best friend is my wife, so shout out to my wife, Erica, man. I love you, baby. My children, man, starting from Karan, Amir, Sierra, Ariana, Asia, Quentin, Marquise. You know, I love y'all, man. You know what it is. So we just gonna keep taking this flag up. Shout out to Sierra Leone, cause y'all be holding me down. Africa, we up. We always up. You know what I'm saying? We about to really open up the continent for everybody to come through, so they could really learn who they are. You know what I mean? And shout out to Gutta Magazine. Thank you for having me here today. I appreciate you, bro. You know, you a deep brother. Keep doing what you're doing for the community, man. We appreciate you, for real, for real. And I just, want to shout out all the artists. Shout out Charlotte for having me in your city, man. I just want to click up with more Charlotte people. You know, we need to take the city up. Shout out to Brooklyn, Jersey. You know what it is, man. I stay in touch with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Check out KG Salone, man, on all platforms. KGSalone.com. KG Salone got music out there. I got merch, everything. You know, I got clothing line, all type of stuff coming out. Well, I got some with me now, and I got some online also. But just check it out, man. See the movement, what's going on, and let me know what y'all think about the music, cause it's different. It's really different. It's not what you hear every day, but you'll hear remnants of what you hear every day, but it's still different. All right, so I appreciate y'all. But look, shout out to all my military people.
Wiki, wiki.